So today we are going to do the Chittanupassana. So in the Satara Satipatthana, we did Kayanupassana. You all practiced the meditation, right? Last week. And then Vedananupassana, which is about sensations, whether they are pleasant or unpleasant. Today we are going to do Chittanupassana, right? So the best way to do Chittanupassana is to practice it, and then you will understand. And that is why I want your videos to be on, Putas. Everyone just put your videos on, darling. I need to insist that you have your videos on, please. Right. Come on, Virul, Chamatka, Renuk, Faith. Keep the videos on, darling. Janimi, your Nangi Baba is dancing around. Eh? So sweet. Go, Virul Puta. Go, camera. Puta, we are on page 4 of the PDF, Puta. Sorry, I'm not referring to the book right now. I'm on the PDF document. Just show me a thumbs up, everyone who has the PDF with them. Open the PDF, Puta. Thumbs up, please, if you have the PDF open with you. Good. Nimeja has it open. Who else? Chamatka, Shenuri, Sini, excellent. Okay, let me just put it again. It's in the group with us. Go back to your group and check. In group 10. Okay, Faith, that's all right. Oh, and by the way, thank you for all the lovely Teachers' Day wishes you kids have shared. They're beautiful. Thank you so much. It's really nice to get those kind of things. Okay, here is the PDF. Let me just post it again. Puta, so you need to download this PDF and take a printout, darling. Printout right? The book and this printout both need to be there with you. Okay, and then ko video stick lamai. Come on. I know Faith has a problem. That's okay. Faith, you don't need to put the video on because you're on a phone today. Others, I need the videos. Come on, kids. Thank you, Virul. Renuk Puta. Video ka dangin. Ko Virul video ka giya pa. Puta, keep the video on, will you? Yeah, get used to having the videos on, darling. Now when we work online. Our videos are on all the time, Puta. Get used to keeping your videos on, all right? Even at school, you all should have your videos on. Thank you, Shenuri, for keeping the video. Renuk Puta, come on, let's have your video. Come on, Puta. All right, good. And Nehara, I will give connection problem. Puta. No, so Faith, that's okay, Puta. I can excuse you today because I know you can't open the PDF and this also. But Faith, it's okay. You switch off the PDF and on the camera because I want you to now practice Chittanupassana. All right. So if you all can't open the PDF and put the video on, I want you to then just put the video on. Because yeah, very good, excellent. All right, so we will video just see what's happening there. Okay, so let me get on to the Chittanupassana thing, right? So Chittanupassana is Puta, our thoughts. Now raise your hand and show me how many of you believe that the thoughts are just coming and going and you have nothing to do with it. Virul, don't open the PDF. All of you can switch off the PDF actually and just keep the videos on. if that is a problem. So let's talk about thoughts. Chittanupassana is understanding everything about your thoughts. Okay, so you can raise your hand and show me. How many of you have noticed that your thoughts just come and go? And sometimes strange thoughts come. And you wonder, where did this thought come from? How many of you have experienced that? Raise your hand if you have experienced that. All right, so Nivecha and Faith have, Chamatka, Minanga, who else? Have you experienced that sometimes, thoughts are just coming and going? You didn't call the thought to come and you didn't tell the thought to go, but the thought just came. Faith, can you just give me an example, if you can, of such a thought that just popped into your mind?
Is there are many, like when we are just waiting, for example, I get something like something big, like a big idea which I can do for my future, or like something about a project.
Right, very good. Niveja, do you have anything you can share about a thought just that popped into your mind?
Same as Faith means, sometimes I wish I could do this thing like a bigger hope or a bigger dream, but all of a sudden I wish I can't do that or something like that.
Right, very good, excellent. So I also, Chamatka, do you want to share anything? I will also share with you. Chamatka?
I sometimes think about like whatever the dreams that I have in the future, but sometimes I think I can't do it, but I can think like that.
Okay, good. Anyone else wants to share? So I will tell you, sometimes I'm very busy at work and suddenly a thought comes to my mind. I should watch Supernatural, right? I love watching Supernatural. I'm watching it for the second time. It's a TV series. How many of you know the series Supernatural? Raise your hand if you know it. Anyone? How many of you know the series Lucifer? Okay, so that's fine. I'm just curious. So anyway, it's a TV series and I like it a lot. And in the most inappropriate places, I just get a thought, I should watch it. And then I'm like, are you crazy? I certainly am not going to watch anything now. I'm busy, right? So this is how the mind works. Yeah. For no reason, a thought will just pop up, just like that. Sometimes when I am, let's say, really relaxed and doing something, a thought might come saying, I need to stop doing whatever I'm doing and eat something. And then I'm like, really? Why do I need to eat something now? So, but sometimes thoughts come that seem to be appropriate. Like, let's say lunchtime is coming and I'm feeling a bit hungry. Then I look at the time and say, yeah, it's time for lunch. So that thought matched with a body requirement and a time requirement. So sometimes the thoughts match. Sometimes the thoughts are just bizarre, right? I had no idea why this thought came to my mind. So what this has taught me over a period of living, simply living, is that you can't trust these thoughts that come to your mind. Because number one, I had realized they are not mine. I didn't ask this thought to come. The thought just popped up. And sometimes I don't know why it came. So the Buddha also was investigating why thoughts come to the mind. And what he found out was exactly that these thoughts are not ours. Thoughts just get triggered. Sometimes we understand why a thought got triggered. Sometimes we don't. So there are instances when you understand why a thought got triggered. like when it is close to lunchtime, your body is now so used to having lunch at a certain time. When the time is coming close, a hunger sensation comes, and with that hunger sensation, a thought comes to your mind saying, you know, I think it's time for lunch, right? So then you can understand it. Let's say that I tell you all now that, kids, I'm going to do a sudden test, right? I'm going to do a sudden test, a sudden quiz. If I tell you this, how would you feel right now? What kind of thoughts will come to your mind? How many of you are thinking, oh my God, I don't want to do a test now? How many of you feel like that? If I tell you I'm going to do a test right now, and those marks are going to count to your term test. How many of you feel, oh my God, I can't do a test now? Raise the hand or thumbs up if you feel that way. Okay, exactly, right? So see, that's a trigger, darling. That's a trigger. What I mean by a trigger is something external happened that triggered a thought in your mind. So what externally happened here? You heard something. You heard a teacher saying, I am going to give you a test now, and that test marks will count towards your semester marks. Hearing that triggered a thought in your mind that said, oh my God. Imagine you are hearing something like this. I'm going to tell you, children, your next term test, right? Now, Prabhat sir will say, we are going to have a term test. And then I'm going to tell you, children, next term test, I will not have an exam paper. Instead, if you come to Dhamma school every day, I will mark you as 100. Okay, so all you need to do is come to Dhamma school every day like you are doing now. And I will, we're already celebrating. I will mark your term test marks as 100, and I'm going to tell you this is a secret between you and us, you and me. Now when you hear such a thing, what kind of thoughts are coming into your mind? Yay, party time. It's Christmas in October. It's my birthday, right? How many of you get thoughts like that? Yay, kind of thoughts. Show me, raise your hand or thumbs up. Okay. Niveja, Faith, you didn't feel like that? Very good. Isini, Shanori, you don't feel like it's Christmas in October? Very good. So Putta, Christmas in October is just a phrase we use to say that, you know, a lot of kids like Christmas, irrespective of whether they're Christians or not, because usually in December, what happens? You get holidays. Many other religions also give kids a present just for the fun of it, you know. Some of you may be even having a small Christmas tree, right? When Pawan and Savindi were small, for Christmas, I had a small Christmas tree and we decorated it just for the fun of it, right? I think that's cool. It's okay for Buddhist children to enjoy Christmas, and it's good for Christian children to enjoy a bit of meditation and listening to Dhamma, right? We should be very relaxed about these things. You are not breaking any rules by getting curious about other religions. When I was your age, I think older than you, I was about 15 or 16, I was curious about Christianity and I read the Bible. So my next door neighbor uncle was a reverend, a very nice elderly gentleman. He was a retired reverend father. So I told him, Uncle, I would like to read the Bible. And he was like, oh, okay, here's a Bible. And he gave me his own copy of the Bible and I read it and there were nice stories in it. And I enjoyed reading it, right? And my parents had no problem with me reading the Bible. Okay. And similarly, as I grew up, I was curious about the Islam religion. So I read the Quran. And when I was working in India for two and a half years. And then I was really curious about the Hindu religion. There are lots of mythological stories about the various gods and what they do and who they are married to and blah, blah, blah. So I used to read a lot about those stories, right? So it's good to have a general understanding of religion of the world, and as much as you understand what Buddhist philosophy is all about, to understand the philosophy of other religions. And what I have understood is most religions, so if not all, they talk about kindness, they talk about care, they talk about compassion, they talk about forgiveness, they talk about being good, right? So most religions focus on good things. And that is why I have seen some really, really good people in the world that I have met were good Christians, some were good Islamic faith, some were good Jews, and some were good Buddhist, right? So you can be in any religion and be a very nice person, because that is what religion is all about, helps you to be a good person. And all these religions have nice stories. And it's nice to understand those stories so that you understand why those people in those religions think and speak and behave in a certain way, and how religion can guide them into doing that. So it's always a good thing, Putta, to be curious. Okay. So anyway, coming back to Chittanupassana. So what I want you to understand is your thoughts get triggered by external stimulus. And external stimulus are things you can see, things you can hear, things you can smell, things you can taste, things you can feel on your body. These are all external stimulus. So basically, you can see because of your eyes, you can hear because of your ears, you can smell because of your nose, you can taste because of your tongue, and you can feel the fan on a warm day, on a hot day, on your body. So these are external stimulus. Based on this stimulus, various thoughts pop into your mind. Now, if you see a friend, what kind of a thought pops into your mind? A happy thought, right? Whereas if you see somebody you don't like that much, what kind of a thought pops into your mind? You'll be like, "Ayo," right? Then think of taste. Let's say I suddenly show you a picture of KFC or McDonald's. Then what happens? Without you knowing it, there's a bit of saliva comes to your mouth. You're already going to eat your chicken and go yum, 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 yum. Just by showing you a picture. That is a trigger, right? Ambul rasa daninanang, let me talk to you about lemon and lime and dahi, right? Just imagine you are taking a lime and squeezing a bit of lime juice into your mouth. Can you already feel the ambul rasa coming onto your tongue? Can you feel the ambul rasa? When you're thinking of lemon and lime, how many of you think of, feel the ambul rasa coming? Raise your hand. Exactly, right? You don't have to taste it. Just imagining it gives you that, right? And that is called a trigger. Yeah. Then some people use this very effectively. So for example, if you are feeling very cold, right? Not, of course, not in Colombo, children. In Colombo, the only thing we feel is very hot and sweaty all the time. But if you're feeling very cold, you just need to sometimes imagine heat and warmth and fire, and it helps you to temporarily feel a bit warm, right? So I do this when I am sometimes at work. If I'm at a workshop and the AC is very high, I freeze very easily in the AC. I am not that good with AC. I don't like AC that much. Even a little bit of AC makes me feel cold. So especially at work, if I'm at a training or in some workshop, and the room temperature is very cold, sometimes just imagine it's a normal, very hot day in Colombo. And just imagining that makes that cold feeling go away for a little bit. Okay. So this is what we call triggers. So your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, or the tongue and the body are triggers that trigger thoughts. But there's another trigger. There's a sixth one. That is your brain. You can trigger your own thoughts. So for example, right now, while listening to this Dhamma, you are reflecting. When you are reflecting, thoughts are getting triggered. So you can consciously do this as well. The other 5 sense doors, which we call the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, triggers things unconsciously to you. But if you use your brain and think about certain things, then the thoughts that get triggered is because you are thinking about something. So for example, what are the things you can think about? I am going to tell you now, think about outer space. Think about outer space. And to help you think about outer space here, I changed my background. There we go. Think about outer space. Imagine that tonight you are going to meet an alien. The alien is going to come and visit you. And the alien is going to say, hey, Niveja, we want to take a human from Earth and take that human back to our galaxy and introduce that human to the aliens in our galaxy. Would you like to come, Niveja? Now, when you're thinking about this, what kind of thoughts will come to your mind? So adventure, that sounds amazing. Maybe I should go. But also there'll be a fear that comes, like, because we fear things we don't know, we fear things we don't understand. And because you don't know about this alien, you have never heard about this galaxy, and you don't know whether they are actually genuine or they are going to eat you, have you for dinner, right? So you don't know because you have watched various kind of scientific movies, and in some movies aliens are good, in some movies aliens are bad, so you have no idea. So when you start thinking of imagination, so that what I'm calling is imagination, you think of various things like that. Okay, then let's say you are doing some maths homework on a Saturday morning. And while doing your maths homework, you have to now think, okay, what did the teacher tell me? She said that the Pythagoras formula is like this. Everyone knows Pythagoras formula? Or not? Or should I use some other example? Okay, so some of you know it, all right. So then you are thinking, okay, so the Pythagoras formula is like this. And now I have these numbers to do for homework. So now we are thinking. And as you are thinking, thoughts relevant to that comes in. So the brain is also a trigger. That's what I'm trying to tell you, right? So let's practice Chittanupassana. We can practice this. Now and that's why I want the videos on again. Virul, I want your video on. Renuk, Shenuri, videos on. Come on. You can do this. All right, so good. So sit comfortably. Kids, sit comfortably. Right. Okay. Keep your feet on the ground, the hands lightly on your lap, and close your eyes. All right. Keep your back straight, head is straight, and gently close your eyes. Now, I was talking of sense doors. You have your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and brain. So there are 6 sense doors. Out of these 6, you have closed your eyes. So one sense door is shut down. Then, because you are not eating, or drinking anything right now, your tongue sense door is also shut down. So out of 6, 2 are shut down. So there are 4 sense doors that are fully working. You can hear things through your ear. You can smell things through your nose. You can feel things on your body. And your brain can be thinking various things, right? So Chittanupassana is all about observing thoughts. Observing thoughts. Now, the best place to start doing this is to observe the external inputs, because thoughts get triggered because of things you hear, things you smell, things you feel on the body, or things you remember. That is what triggers a thought. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes. I'll put the timer. Just focus on what do you hear, what do you smell, what do you feel on your body, and what are you thinking of? So you don't need to look for stuff. Just observe. Can you hear anything? Can you hear any sounds? If yes, just be aware that I can hear a sound. If no, just be aware that right now there are no sounds. Then focus on your nose. Can you smell anything? If yes, just be aware that yes, I can smell something. Maybe your mom is cooking something nice. If no, just acknowledge that I don't smell anything right now. On your body, if you can feel the fan or a fly or a mosquito, or is it sweating, whatever is it, just observe. And in case thoughts come, just be aware that I remembered something, a thought came. So let me set the timer for 2 minutes. We can start now. All right, you can now gently open your eyes. So Faith, did you hear anything? Did you smell anything? Did you feel anything? Or did you remember anything? Faith?
Yes, miss, I heard several noises, but there were no smells or anything.
Okay, good. Minanga, did you hear anything, smell anything, think of anything? Minanga? Minanga, you're on mute.
I heard many sounds around me. I couldn't smell anything, but I heard many noises and many thoughts came to me.
Okay, okay, excellent. All right, so so this is just a very, very basic step of Chittanupassana, right? So Virul felt the air from the fan and the noise. Very good, Virul. Maybe the others can just type in the message box, right? Janumi, Sini, Renuk and others, just type in the message box what you heard, what you felt, did any one of you remember anything? Any thoughts came? Did any one of you think, isn't the 2 minutes finished now? Did Nadisha miss fall asleep? All right, so because we are coming close to the end of our session, let me just tell you one thing. Some of you told me that you have understood that sometimes thoughts pop up randomly. Yes, indeed, thoughts are random. They pop because of external stimulus. Sometimes we don't know what triggered it. Okay, and the Buddha said, whenever a thought comes to your mind, don't bother trying to think what triggered it. So for example, if you all said sometimes you feel you can go for your dreams and sometimes you feel you can't go for your dreams. Whatever that thought, don't ask yourself what triggered this, because it was just an external stimulus. But what is more important is to remember that those thoughts are not yours. A thought that says I can or a thought that says I can't, both are not yours. You just need to decide that you want to do something and just go after it. No, irrespective of what thoughts come to your head, right? Because thoughts cannot define who you are and what you're going to do. Thoughts just pop up randomly for no reason, and sometimes maybe there is a reason. So you need to just make up your mind what you are going to do and just go and do it, darling, irrespective of the thoughts that come to your head. So sometimes thoughts will say, yes, I can do this. Sometimes thoughts will come and say, no, I can't do this. Either ways, you can tell your mind to shut up. Okay, you can actually. So for example, sometimes I just wake up at 3 in the morning because some idea is buzzing in my head. And then what do? I ask myself, Pissudane, me ude turunta nagitinne, go back to sleep. And I go back to sleep. You don't have to listen to your thoughts, right? You don't have to. You can always tell yourself, Pissudane, and ignore it. Oh, if you think that thought is useful for you, you can say, oh, excellent idea, Annie. Let me go with it. Now on a Saturday, if you feel like, you work very hard, Monday to Friday, and you really deserve an ice cream, a thought comes to your mind saying, I really deserve an ice cream. I should go and sweet talk my mother and say, Ammi, you are the best Ammi in the world. You are my darling Ammi. You are my Sudu Ammi. Hawasata mම පාඩම් කරන්නම් Ammi. Mata ice cream එකක් අරන් දෙන්න Ammi oh. And a thought like that comes and you're like, yeah, good idea. Let me do it. Okay. So on that note, I will stop for today. I suggest you go and butter up your mother and promise her that you are going to study later in the day and see whether you can get an ice cream out of her. All right. All the best. All the best with that. And I will see you next week. So have a good weekend and have a good week at school. Stay safe. And bye-bye until next Saturday. Everyone, Sarnai Putas.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, teachers. Stay
Thank
safe,
you.
teacher.
Once and nice teaching.
Thank you.